All right, hello, fellow seekers. Welcome back. Again, my apologies for being away, probably far too long, but this is just how I'm going to do things, as I feel inspired or as I have time, and life continues to get busy, surprisingly busy. Offers keep coming in for to do different things related to photography and writing and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to continue. Who knows what will happen with this in the future? I know it's not getting a ton of views, although I appreciate those of you who are watching. And yeah, we'll see what comes of it. Maybe it will morph into something else, as often happens. But yeah, today I'm going to talk a little bit about being a father, being a parent. We just had Father's Day, and certainly that was had a big impact on who I am. Made me another new person. Just before I get to that, you'll notice, or maybe you won't, I'm not wearing my glasses today. I'm not going to be able to do this through the whole thing because I can't read anything that I've written. Um, but I've been doing this a little bit lately, even when I've been playing bocce or lawn bowling. I haven't tried it actually lawn bowling yet. Just taking my glasses off to see. Look, I can't even see where the mute button is. Um, I've been taking my glasses off to play different sports and to try things where I didn't think, being completely in focus is necessary. Just to, I like to really embrace trying things differently, right? Rather than doing things the same old way, to see what I can learn from it, to see if maybe there are better ways. I'm not even sure if that's the right word, better ways of doing things. Um, but just to live, right? And that's really what I want this to be about, is kind of to embrace all these opportunities, whether they're as silly as not wearing your glasses or not, and to make the most of it. So just before I get to the Father's Day thing, let me put my glasses on just for a second. Um, so I just wanted to talk really quickly about how, just like the glasses thing, I had an opportunity to go to Niagara Falls last week with a couple of friends of mine from high school and another guy, a friend of a friend, and to see Roger Daltrey, of course, of the Who. KT Tunstall opened for him. It was quite an interesting trip, and the most interesting thing probably about it was that the Falls View Casino, where the concert was, tried to enforce a no photo video policy. I don't know if you've been to a concert recently, but I've been to a few, and certainly cell phones are becoming a huge part of concerts, for better or worse. We went to a Boy Genius concert last year. Uh, at the time, I didn't really realize there would be so many young girls who were at the concert, because the Broken Social Scene was also opening for them, another of our favorites, and kind of we went to see both. But I was amazed at I would say 90% of the people had their cell phones out at some point, and probably half of those had them out for the whole concert. So it has become a thing. So, to then ask people not to do it, it was a bit of a nightmare. Really, the whole concert was just ushers walking around and tutting people and trying to get them to turn their phones off. And, um, so as a photographer, obviously I thought about ways that I could take photos and video without them knowing. But in the end, just like with my glasses or today or a few moments ago, I decided no, just go with it. Just don't get your phone out and see how the experience is different. And it was interesting. It was interesting because first of all, it was nice to see not so many phones out. It was kind of fascinating to watch the whole process of them trying to stop people from doing it. Um, but it also allowed me to really be in the moment, right? I'm not one, even though I'm a photographer, and I do certainly have my camera at events like that. I'm not one to always have it out. In fact, I often like to wait, after the first few songs, which I know goes against policy. If you didn't know, if you're most concert photographers are always only given the first three songs at concert to take photos, and then they have to leave. Um, but I almost work the opposite way. I let everyone else get up there and get their photos, and I watch for a little bit, and then I try to do my thing. But I don't try to take photos constantly. I really do try to enjoy the moment as well. Part of the reason my glasses are crooked, which you've probably noticed, so that's why I was going to not wear them. But anyway, um, so that was, yeah, very interesting, and it gave me a different perspective at the break between the acts, between KT Tunstall and Roger Daltrey. I had a piece of paper with me, and I very quickly, made a whole bunch of notes. I think I even wrote on here, I'm probably the only person in this whole concert arena who is writing pen to paper. Um, but I want to write about it. It's another way of experiencing something. And so I'm hoping, if I find the time soon, to actually write a little essay about that. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about this too. I don't know if this is the best way for me to present this information. I do like writing. I seem to be getting better at writing. I feel like I'm getting better, but I also know that people are reading less, right? So it's a hard one. Um, so yeah, so I'm just trying to, again, experiment and see what works. And what I mean by what works, it's not necessarily what gets the most views. I know that's what drives most influencers. That's not my goal. My goal is to help others, really, and maybe get them to think a little bit differently, which was really what I did through my entire teaching career. Speaking of that, I had a couple interesting offers this week. We have a local lecture series called the Ball Lecture, Blue Water Association for Lifelong Learners, I think it is. Got a phone call, and they are doing a series on education next year, and they asked me if I would like to speak. I'm not sure yet. I've been thinking about it. I certainly have lots I could say. I probably have lots of stuff written. I'm just trying to decide whether or not it's something that I feel like I can handle. Um, and it could focus on my criticism, but I don't think that's really the goal. I'm thinking more media literacy stuff, maybe, and how it actually applies to some of my criticism. I also got offered to do some DJing tomorrow night. Not something that happens very often. If you don't know, my other name that I go by is Disco Infernal. 2 words. Get it? It's supposed to sound like Disco Inferno. Some people think of the song as Burn Baby Burn, but that's the line from it. Um, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That's for a Rainbow Rendezvous, which connects kind of to Pride. Um, Another thing that I posted photos about this week, and got some interesting reactions. Won't go into that too far right now. So yeah, so the thing that I wanted to read to you today is this. Let's see here. So I just wrote this in notes. I'm just going to read some of this. Today is my 25th Father's Day, so it seems appropriate to do a little thinking about what it means to be a father. Too often it seems we think being a father means simply being a provider, either of genes or of money, but I'm not sure either adequately define what it means to be a father. I've learned so much from having my daughters, sorry, and from my daughters. It's true what they say: when you have a child, it's like taking your heart and allowing it to travel in another meat suit. Sorry, the meat suit is my part. I've heard that idea before, right? Let your heart travel in another body. And because of this, I've learned that there are many different ways to look at the world. I've also learned other important lessons: the importance of listening, the importance of letting someone know they are loved, the importance of providing guidance when necessary, but also understanding when someone decides to try another path, one that you may not have ever considered, that's okay, and to support that attempt. The importance of demonstrating that you can make your own way. The success should not, or sorry, that success should not be defined by anyone but yourself, right? Too often, people will say, well, so and so is successful. And I'll have to say to them, well, first of all, you need to define that for me. What do you mean by success? Because often it means money, of course, and stuff. And we all know, I think, that there are lots of people who have that type of success, but are missing other things in their lives. But perhaps most importantly, having empathy for the sometimes difficult path that all humans take is the thing I've learned the most. I am very thankful for my children showing me the importance of having empathy. And I'm proud of the success, by my definition, that they are having. They are kind human beings who will take a stand when they see it necessary. It's necessity. They are happy and funny and regularly make me laugh. They are good people, and they laugh a lot themselves, which I think is very important. One of the things that I remember in teaching was that, once I had a kid, it really changed the way you look at teaching, because then you get a chance to compare, right? You see it from another perspective. So up until that point, I had just been the teacher giving out work. And then, of course, I start to see, well, this is how it affects the student at home, at least in their home life. And, I'm not saying that every teacher has to have kids, but it's interesting. There was certainly a divide between those who did and those who didn't. Lastly, I just want to, this is something I wrote here, and I don't know if it fits into this or not, but there's this idea too that people aren't having children as often. And often it's good people, right? But as I say to people who say, oh, and I talk a little bit to my daughters about this, that, if the good people don't have children, um, things are going to go to hell much faster, right? We need good people, good parents to have children and to raise them in a way that is going to be good for our world. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. Thanks for listening, as always. Go to goodnoise.ca and sign up for my mailing list, or share this, or subscribe, or whatever you want to do. I don't really care. I just hope you're getting something out of this. Take care. Bye now.